So now that you learned how to dynamically set styles and classes, let's go back to the limitations of inline styles you learned about. Most important for us right now, the fact that we can't assign a hover style for our button. Hover, which in CSS you would simply create with :hover, is a pseudo selector, which means it's a selector based on some other selector indicated by that colon. Now, we can't assign this in our current application. There, we got our style JavaScript object where we assign or create some styles for the button. But hover, how would we set it up here, right? Hover is not a CSS property. So we could fix this, of course, by styling the button in the CSS file, but I already mentioned that this style would then not be scoped to this component only, and all the buttons in our application would get the styling. Yes, we could work around this with some unique CSS IDs or classes, but having the possibility of using these inline styles here can also be pretty cool, because as we already do, you can edit them in your code because everything is JavaScript. So it would be nice if we could actually use pseudo selectors and media queries in our normal JavaScript inline styles. And by default, that's of course not possible. But we can add a third-party package, which is pretty popular, to add this functionality to our application. So let's do just that. For that, we need to install a new package. And here I opened my normal terminal on my Mac, or on Windows it would be the command prompt. This is just a terminal integrated into Microsoft Visual Studio Code. You can also open it over the options, View, Integrated Terminal. Now, this is the same terminal you have on your machine if you access it normally, but automatically navigated into your project folder. And there I will now install a package with npm install. I'll add --save to also save an entry in package.json so that we also fix the version number and can easily share our project. And then the package is called Radium. Simply hit enter now, and this will download and add this package to the project so that we can start using it. Radium is a popular package for React, which allows us to use inline styles with pseudo selectors and media queries. So pretty awesome. Now that it is installed, we can close the terminal again and we can start using it. Now to start using it, we first of all have to import it in the file where we want to use it. And this could be any of your files, could be the app.js file, could be the person file too, of course. Let's work in the app.js file though, because there is the button where I want to add a hover state. To be able to do this, I first of all need to import Radium. So I'll add an import statement here. Position doesn't matter, but it should be at the top of the file. I'll import Radium from Radium. This is the syntax you can use. Now with that imported, you can scroll all the way down where you export your app, and there you can call Radium as a function and wrap your app with it. Now this is called a higher order component, something we will also create in our course project later. It might look super fancy, but in the end it's just a component wrapping your component, adding, kind of injecting some extra functionality. In this case, some extra syntax, which will parse your styles and understand some extra features you can now start using. You can use this on both components created with class and extends component, as well as functional components. So there, if we add Radium, by importing Radium from Radium, we can also export Radium person here. Both works. Now with that added, we can start adding or using some new features. And we of course do this in our style, because Radium is all about styles. Here our style, which will get assigned to the button in the end, I want to add a hover style. And with Radium added and wrapping your export, you can simply add a new property, :hover, or any other pseudo selector. All pseudo selectors are supported. You need to wrap them in quotation marks though, because since they start with a colon, they are not valid JavaScript property names. As strings, they are though. As you know, you can create JavaScript properties as strings, or if you don't have an invalid character in them, just as we did before, like all these other properties. Now, the value simply is your set of styles for the hover state. So another JavaScript object where I will now set the background color to light green for the green button and the color of the text to black maybe. And I will also, of course, override hover down there where I override my background color. There, I will simply set style and now not dot hover because it's a string. We need to use squared brackets. So here we then assign a new value, a new JavaScript object where we use light red and black text like this. With this, we're using a Radium feature, being able to assign a property which is a valid CSS pseudo selector and taking advantage of Radium to still have it work. Now, if you save this in all the other files and you reload your application, if you hover over the button, you see the change styling. Also for the red button, though there it's not overwriting it to light red. So let's try a different color. Salmon does work, so light red didn't exist, but if I change it to salmon, now it works too. So this is pretty cool because now you have the best of both worlds. You have the normal CSS pseudo selectors you can add, and you still have scoped styles which you can easily edit from within your JavaScript code, as you can see here. Now, Radium doesn't limit you to using pseudo selectors as we did. You can also add media queries. Let's maybe do this in the person component, and let's do it in the next lecture.